Francis, before, he had holes in his game, but now it looks like he might be unstoppable. And I think a lot of credit goes to Francis. Of course, he's the one that's doing everything, but it goes to his coach. His name is Eric Nixick. So I think he's his main coach who basically plans everything for him, works with his striking, but he's not his striking coach. I think he deserves a lot of credit. He's been working with Francis for a while now. I think it was before or during for the Rosenstrike fight, which was about one fight away from the Stipe fight. And the reason why I say this is Stipe, before going to this fight, had huge holes in his game. One of them was cardio. The other one was his wrestling defense, which wasn't really a hole. It was just that he wasn't really using fundamentals in wrestling defense, right? He was using brute strength a lot of the times. And the last hole was that he was just too wild. He was not patient enough. He chased knockouts. Once something went wrong, or once the fight got heated, he would throw caution to the wind and start just throwing as much strikes as possible at his opponent until they landed. Example is the Rosenstrike fight, where he did start off, I think he started off southpaw, but anyways, he went low to the body, and then he comes up with a cross. And then instantly, right after that, he starts going wild and throwing hooks, and eventually hitting Jairzinho Rosenstrike. So what's different now is it feels like he's a completely different fighter, in the sense that he's patient, he picks his shots, but he also is much more accurate. That check left hook that he threw to Stipe to finish Stipe is not a check left hook that he would have thrown 2 or 3 fights ago. Even one fight ago, he really precisely landed that shot. In a similar situation to that situation where he finished Stipe in the first fight, he wasn't able to finish Stipe. Maybe one thing that I'm leaning towards is Francis, in that same situation in the first fight, instead of going for the chin with a check left hook, he went for a right hook to the temple. It wasn't very the reason why I bring this to you is because it's something that demonstrates his picking of shots. Instead of throwing punches all over the place, he was much more precise. He was going to the body, right? He was using the uppercut a lot more effectively. That's something also I really noticed, was his uppercut wasn't as wild. In the first fight and other fights, you can see him cocking back his right arm to basically tell his opponent, like, hey, I'm trying to set up this uppercut. But now he actually picked his shot with that uppercut and landed in that barrage before finishing Stipe. That, like, his striking, it really improved, but the other hole was his grappling. So what he would do when he was getting grabbed, especially in the first round, was he would go for over and under hook, and then push the person's head low so that they wouldn't be able to grab onto like a body lock or a single leg. What was different in this fight was he was doing that, but he also was able to sprawl once he was dragged off the cage. That sprawl was very, very important, because now when you sprawl, you are able to create distance from your opponent, but also in this case, he was able to break the hands of Stipe. If you're able to break the grasp of Stipe, now you have top position, and you have his back right to you. So Francis, in that situation, took his back and actually landed a lot of shots, and those Stipe might have survived those shots, but those did have an effect. They have to, even though they were short shots, short crosses from behind, they were actually landing very, very cleanly. Some of them were landing on the glove and whatnot, but they were still he was still adding shots totals to the fight. Other thing was his leg kicks, but we talked about his striking already. The last was his cardio. I think if this fight were to go to the third or to the fourth round, I think his cardio would still be in question. You might have seen him like a little bit more sluggish. But one thing that we did see is, compared to the first fight, Francis was able to manage his energy enough to where he wasn't gassed in the second round. In the first fight, immediately after the first round, he was so tired in the second round. You can physically see him breathing through his mouth and through his shots. They were very, very fatigued. As opposed to this fight, where he looked like he was just as fresh. He was ready and willing to exchange and throw shots with Stipe, and really didn't have to deal with too much clinch work. Stipe didn't really go for any more takedowns, but maybe that was because of the first exchange. But Francis looks like he's much more of a complete fighter. Now, is he able to use this exact same performance throughout any other fight that he has going forward? I'm not sure. But what he's shown us in this fight is that he's able to put it all together. There was a big question mark, especially for myself, was would Francis ever be able to put everything together and be a top level mixed martial artist? And it looks like he's actually done it. He's been able to. He landed a high kick, even though it was with his toes. He still landed with low kicks as well. Like he has a complete game, and it looks like, especially at the heavyweight division, it looks like he can do this for a long time, for as long as he wants to. But that's left. We'll see what happens in the future.